Hey, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. I decided to do this video in the park because it's a really sunny day, really nice weather, and I've just finished a skate session and I thought I should talk about my wheels because it's been a little while now. Now you might have seen my video recently about the Bones X99 60mm Tony Hawk wheels, and that you might consider that was a slightly negative review. To be honest, they're just not the right wheels for me. They are more of a kind of all-terrain wheel rather than a smooth surface wheel, which is really what I need, because what I'm after is like speed, and as much speed as I can possibly get. So if you saw my last video, you'll see I was talking about the Bones Swiss ceramic bearings. The reason for me using those was because I was looking for the fastest bearings I could possibly get. I just want ultimate speed, really, and that might sound like, bizarre. If you just want speed, just pump harder, which, is a thing, but I'm pumping as hard as I possibly can. I just wanted everything to be as best as it possibly could so that I felt like everything else was on me. So yeah, you can go fast with cheap bearings and smaller wheels, but you can also shave off a lot of effort if you just get fast wheels and fast bearings as well. And so that was my intention, and that was partly the reason why I decided to try something else other than the Spitfire Formula 4 full conical 58mm wheels. First I wanted to go up a wheel size to 60mm because that was going to give me a tiny little bit more speed just going up in wheel size. I also like bigger wheels. You feel like a more solid lock-in on coping. It's a bit harder to get the wheel over the coping, but once you're on it, it's a more solid lock-in. I feel like the edge of the wheel is against the coping and holding the lock-in. Now, when I was looking at the time, I couldn't actually find any 60mm Spitfires. I since found some, the Lance Mountain ones that I showed in that X99 video. The other thing about those Spitfire full conicals is that they are wider, and the wider the wheel, the more that is in contact with the surface, which means more grip, but it also means you'll be slightly slower. A narrower wheel will go faster simply because it's got less in contact with the surface at any time. So I wanted to try something a bit narrower, and the obvious wheel to go for, aside from Spitfires, are Bones wheels. And so I thought I'd try again, because I've tried them before, the Bones SPF wheels, but this time in 60mm. I had some 58mm ones, which you'll see I was putting the bearings in the video about the Bones Swiss bearings, and I used them for a little bit, but actually I think there was a defect with those wheels where the bearing seats weren't quite straight, so they felt a bit weird and like they weren't rotating properly, and I'm going to do a little investigation in that to see if that's true. But I ended up buying some 60mm ones instead anyway, because I wanted 60mm wheels. So here we are, and I've been, I've got the 60mm wheels, and I've been riding them for quite some time now with the Swiss ceramics. Don't know how long exactly, but a good few months. You can probably tell by the graphics wearing off. That's probably the worst one, to be honest. So that's what they look like, but they are narrower than the Spitfires, and they are harder as well. So they are 84B, which is the equivalent of a 104A, I think. They feel harder, which means they go faster. They do feel fast, especially on smooth concrete. So like today, I've been skating at Crystal Palace on the smooth concrete pool, and they go really fast, especially with these Swiss ceramic bearings. So really, this is just kind of an update that I have settled on these SPFs for now. So I'm becoming full-on Pal Peralta fanboy, really, because I've got a Pal deck, Bones wheels, Bones bearings, independent trucks and Santa Cruz rails. So I'm a little bit NHS, but mostly Pal Peralta. But yeah, I just wanted to do the video as a kind of update because I'd left that story kind of open-ended. So I'm very happy with these even on wood, and that's what kind of turned me off greatly before when I tried them. The ones I tried before were my 58mm ones I had, but skating on the wooden bowl, I felt like they were slippery, and they certainly are. But it's not really the fault of the wheels, it's the dust in that place, and the dust that collects in indoor skate parks. The dust sticks to your wheels, and then you're really skating on dust. The surface is, it doesn't matter how good your wheels are, if you get your wheels covered in dust, they're going to slip. And that's the same problem that I had with the X99s in a wooden park with smooth surfaces, like smooth wood but dusty. So the X99s are a lot more grippy than the 84Bs, but because the wheels get covered in dust in the indoor skate park, they weren't any more grippy than these are. My Spitfires were marginally more grippy, only slightly, but I put that down to them being wider and having more in contact with the surface. So what I've actually done to get over that is just get used to the wheels and learn to use them, and learn how much I can dig in with hard, fast carves and just turns in general. I think there comes a point in time where you can learn to feel what the wheels are doing and react accordingly. So I don't actually slip very often on these even, whereas before, a few years ago, I would be slipping all over the place on these. So much like learning tricks, I think you also learn to improve your balance and your reactions and just how to handle wheels in the same way that you might learn to handle loose trucks or learn to handle doing board slides on rails rather than a board. You just learn and develop and evolve to learn to handle these things. So I've learned not to slip, and I don't really slip anymore, which is great. So where these really do excel though is like today, where I've been skating on the concrete, and I can pump so hard and fast as I really possibly can, and go super fast. And that's what I wanted. That's what I really need, to be able to get 50-50 grinds in the deep end of that pool, or to get very long ones around the corner and the square corner of this pool. That's what I need. I need to feel like I'm going as fast as possible. So I'm going to show you some footage of today's session just to kind of illustrate what I'm talking about the speed that I want and the tricks that I'm doing to warrant going that fast. It was a fairly good day, sort of a reflection of my general skating here. I got some good 50-50s around the square corner and into the next flat. I was trying to do some 50-50s in the deep end, but the fear kicked in. I haven't been here for a while, and I am afraid of heights, and I was trying a few and the fear just kicked in after a while, and that just tells me I haven't been here often enough, and I haven't, because the weather's been terrible. But as you can see, it looks like summer is here or right around the corner. So I'm going to try and get back here more often in the next few weeks and just get back to where I was before with doing the 50-50s in the deep end, and learn some new stuff. I really want to get front side 50-50s. I want to try and get Smith grinds. I need to improve my front side slash grinds. It took me ages to get a front side slash in the deep end today. I just, again, it's fear thing. Most of the time I'm the width of a wheel away from the coping, or my wheel rolls on the coping and doesn't quite grind, and I got really frustrated to the point where I just went like really ripped one, and it was a really good grind. And I think sometimes the anger really helps you just throw one, and it worked. So I'll show you the footage. I don't really need to talk more about the wheels. I just wanted to tell you what I decided to keep for now. 60mm Bones SPF. They're just standard ones. They're not, a signature wheel by anyone's name. They're exactly the same wheels, even when they got somebody's name on them. They're just a bit more expensive because they have to pay that person a little royalty for using their name. So yeah, 60mm Bones SPFs for me are the fastest things I've come across so far, and they grip really well on smooth concrete and even very slightly worn concrete, because this place is getting a bit worn now. And I've learned to control the grip on slippery wood to the point that I don't slip. and it doesn't really compromise me too much. If I carve too sharp, I slip out sometimes, you know, so doing some front side 50/50s and maybe some, when I'm trying to do Smith grinds and things like that, I've carved a bit too sharp and I've slipped. But other than that, I think they're ideal. So with that said, enjoy the footage of the skating. I will see you again soon with some more videos. If you like my content, you know what to do. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And of course, if you feel like it, you can support me by buying a t-shirt, and the links are in the description below for my t-shirts. I'll try and get some more designs going soon. I'll have to get busy and work on some, but yeah, have a look, see what you think, and I'll hopefully see you for some more glorious sunshine videos very soon. Thanks for watching. Take care. Don't do that.